My question is for the Premier. Climate pollution is going up, not down in Ontario, and no matter how much spin this government puts on it, it's clear the Auditor General said that the government will not meet its weakened GHG reductions targets. We must reverse course immediately, and the most practical and fiscally responsible way to do it is to electrify transportation industry and building heat. But for this to work, we need to maintain a clean grid. But the government is planning to ramp up gas plants, which would increase pollution by 400%, reversing 1/3 of the GHG reductions Ontarians achieved by phasing out coal. So, Speaker, I ask the Premier, will you instruct your Minister of Energy to reverse the government's plans to ramp up gas plants and implement lower-cost, cleaner solutions?
To reply, the Minister of Energy.
Well, thanks very much, and I'm really energized to take on this question from the member opposite this morning, and I appreciate the fact, and I know the member opposite can appreciate the fact as well, that our electricity grid that we have in the province today is 94% emissions-free. And I know the member opposite, although he is leader of the Green Party, will know that the Green Energy Act that was brought in by the previous Liberal government created chaos for the people of Ontario. It created an oversupply, actually, which we currently have in Ontario. We have more electricity, we have more energy than we actually need. But to the member's point, we do know that as Pickering comes offline in 2025 and as refurbishments continue at our workhorses in the energy sector at Bruce and at Darlington nuclear facilities, Mr. Speaker, we are going to have to balance the grid. That's why we're looking at various ways to do that, Mr. Speaker. One of the ways is to use our natural gas fleet that we have, but another way is conservation programs, which we're really keen on encouraging people to take control of their energy bills, of their electricity consumption, and I'll have more to say in the supplementary, Speaker.
Yes. Supplementary question.
It is true, Speaker, we have a clean grid in Ontario, but with the government's current plans, that grid will no longer be clean. There are cheaper and cleaner solutions to ramping up gas plants. The previous government learned the problems and challenges of gas plants. I would suggest this government don't make the same mistakes. Energy efficiency and conservation, far cheaper, helping people lower their utility bills and lower climate pollution. The government cut most of those programs. Utility-scale renewable energy, 1/2 the price of fossil gas. Government cut those. Made in Ontario energy storage solutions, such as HydroStore, which is getting contracts in California and Australia and around the world, but not in Ontario. So, Speaker, will the minister say yes to Ontario entrepreneurs and job creators and bring in low-cost, clean energy solutions and say no to ramping up gas plants?
Minister of Energy.
Well, in a word, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to say yes. Actually, we're looking at all options when it comes to energy and our supply mix in Ontario. Yesterday, I had the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to meet with the Ontario Young Professionals in Energy. We had a great conversation. Sean McCarthy, formerly of the Globe and Mail, was the moderator for it. Over 100 young entrepreneurs, innovative minds, talking about the future of our energy sector in Ontario. And, you know, they were delighted to know that I had written to the Independent Electricity System Operator asking the ISO to look at ways that we could incorporate battery storage to provide that stability that doesn't exist under the previous Liberal government's Green Energy Act. The unreliability, the unsustainability. The price was outrageous. We had people paying way over market prices for electricity, and the biggest complaints that we got in our constituency offices were people complaining about their electricity bills. We want to provide that reliability, affordability, and sustainability for the member opposite.